What's a scam you fell for, or a time you got ripped off that you feel like everyone should know? Here's mine. Back when I still used to drink, a group consisting of my friends and I went to a kind of expensive, bougie pool hall. One of my friends and I had been coming here for a few months. The bartenders were cool, crowd was decent, so we thought it would be a nice spot for a get-together. Since it was 7 or 8 of us, we told the bartenders we didn't want to open a tab. We would just pay for drinks cash as we get them. The entire night we are getting drinks, and what we thought was paying the bartenders cash. We are showing love too. Most of us were drinking Long Islands, which were like $10 or something, and giving the bartenders $20 each time. It's closing time, so we are getting ready to leave. The bartender stops us and says we need to close our tab. We told them that we didn't open a tab. Security was already blocking the exit and telling my friends we need to pay our tab. I'm telling the bartenders we were paying for our drinks every time we got them. We were trying to avoid this. The bartender, who was the one my friend and I had seen regularly, looked at me and said, "Those were tips." I told him it wasn't. We weren't tipping $20 for every drink, and we are just going to leave. As I turned around, I saw the cops already there. We ended up having to pay a $300+ tab. When I gave the bartender my signed receipt, he had the audacity to say, "No tip?" Job scams. I was applying to data analyst roles in bulk. I got an email from a person claiming to be a recruiter at a good company, encouraging me to apply as a remote intern. Their interview was very brief and very non-technical. Apart from that, the documents I received looked mostly legit and had only a few things worth raising your eyebrow at. When they offered me the position, they asked to sign some documents and submit my bank account number and routing information. Just to be sure, I contacted HR at the company and found out it was a scam. Stay safe, people. I still don't really understand how it was possible for all of these things to be true and for it to still be a scam. Suffice it to say, I'm still confused. I was called by my bank. The number that called me was saved in my phone's contacts by me as my bank. The number that called matched the number of my bank. They told me my card was suspected to have been used fraudulently. This has unfortunately happened to me a few times. They read off 5 to 10 transactions that were all totally legitimate and 2 to 3 that were fraudulent. During this call, I logged into my bank's app and couldn't see any of the fraudulent charges. The general flow of the conversation felt totally legit. There were no odd accents or anything unusual until they asked me to read off the security code to them, which set off a million alarm bells in my head. During the call, my bank locked me out. I ended the call without providing the security code. I called my bank, which was the same damn number, and they told me they'd never ask for a security code and that I was correct to hang up. They still made me get a new card, despite there not actually being any fraudulent activity shown, and I had to change the passwords to everything. How in the world did they call from the bank's phone number? It wasn't just spoofed to say my bank's name, it was the exact digits that match my bank. How did they know the 5 to 10 transactions they read off to me and my savings account balance, not tied to the card in question? I'm still perplexed. My dad called a fake tech support phone number he found online because my new laptop was having issues. He gave them access to the laptop and typed in his credit card info to pay them a $6 service fee. I got an email to reset my PayPal password, then another one saying my password had been successfully reset. Fortunately, I never connected the account to anything. When I tried to find the emails to show my father that something was up, they had been deleted. The scammers bought a $50 Amazon gift card with my debit card on my own Amazon account, and my dad's credit card had a bunch of charges too. We were able to dispute all the charges, so we didn't actually lose any money. It's just a funny story now. I probably shouldn't say this, but if you hear an older relative on the phone with someone who has an Indian accent, make them hang up LOL. I don't buy it. That's a pretty weak scam. For upscale bars, they get a card up front to start a tab. Also, they'll get killed on Yelp and social media, all for $300. Though a similar thing did happen to my group at a bar. We put up a card on a tab, and after a few drinks in, the bartender asked what we were celebrating. It was a buddy's upcoming wedding, and he said, "All right, shot of the best on me." And he gives the groom a shot. Then he says, "Wait, you guys can't let him drink alone," and pours us all one. Then he says, "Can I drink with you guys for luck?" "Yeah." And he pours himself a double. Turns out, whatever it was, 100 a shot, and we didn't get a chance to say no, and we're only the hook for 1,200 just for those shots. We all know the Nigerian prince. A little off topic, but I think you'll get a kick out of this LOL. Can't really get into backstory, but my attorney had wired me a large sum of money once a case had wrapped up. I had forgotten to call my banker and received a call from her immediately after the wire had gone through. It went something like this: "Banker, good afternoon, Mrs. I just wanted to let you know we received a rather large wire transfer to your account. You were expecting this, correct? Me, it was received? Alright, see babe? I told you that Nigerian prince was real. Banker, what? No. What? No, that's a scam. Me, JK, Carmen. I'm sorry, banker. Oh my gosh, I thought I was going to have a heart attack. So it's not a Nigerian prince scam, right? Y'all, I almost peed myself. And it's a small town, so I see her often and giggle every time. It's some kind of carnival game. I got swindled into it through some kind of rent out and emptied coat shop to sell suspiciously used wares. It was as legit as a few rental space agreements, and that's about it. They were selling 8-year-old used laptops for a couple $100. No box, just open and turned on top of a folding tape and a white bedsheet. Loose jewelry previously lost and now has been found to be sold. But the actual scam was a game. The idea was that you would take a handful of darts, drop them on a board, and if you got high enough on the points, you'd get a PlayStation 5 or a TV or something. Always a big prize. 2 kinks in this seemingly straightforward deal. 1. Every time you play, the cost doubles. 2. The numbers your darts land on are not the number of points you receive. Say your dart drops on square 18. You don't get 18 points. You gotta look at the chart off to the side. Just 18 is actually worth only 4 points. Other square might be worth more, less, or even negative points. If you don't make the quote, you lose that round. And your next round costs twice as much as the one before. Suddenly, you're on your 5th attempt, nearly $500 in the hole. And while getting 200 points seems easy enough, that's only if everyone was being honest. It's so easy to flub some numbers before your victim can realize they've been duped, like being shortchanged, but with points. My dad fell victim to one a while ago. He buys stuff online all the time, usually has at least 1 or 2 packages on the way any given week. One day, he gets a text saying one of his packages had insufficient postage that needed to be paid before it could be delivered. The next thing he knows, his account gets hit with a large withdrawal. Thankfully, he was able to call the bank and get it reversed. Otherwise, he would have been out several $100s. If you ever get a text purportedly from USPS, UPS, or FedEx saying you need to pay to have a package delivered, just delete the text. Shortly after I started a job, I got an email from someone claiming to be my boss and using his actual name. They said they needed me to get Amazon gift cards for a client and that I would be reimbursed. This felt off, but filing expense reports and being reimbursed was common practice at this job, and I was still learning how they did things. While my employer was a legitimate company, they did just enough flying by the seat of their pants that I thought this might be a real request. After sending the gift card codes, I started realizing that some things they said in their emails didn't add up. Thankfully, I was quick enough to contact Amazon customer service that they could remove most of the gift cards from the account that had taken them and send me reimbursement. If anyone asks you to buy a bunch of gift cards and give them the redemption codes, don't. I had never bought anything off Craigslist before. I was on my own for the first time in college in a new city, and there was a concert going on. Found 5 to 6 tickets on CL for $60 each or so, and I bought the group's tickets to be reimbursed later. The tickets were just a print out of a piece of paper. This is before all the apps on the phones and being able to transfer tickets electronically. After I get back to college, I get a bad feeling about the tickets all looking the same. But it's a standing concert, so there wasn't any reason for them to look different. I.e. different seat numbers. Once I got back to school, I had a friend try to buy more tickets from the same seller. The seller said, okay, now I know I got scammed. I get my friend to set up another buy. Happened to be the same spot, and called my brother to come pick me up so I didn't arrive in the same car as last time. Get to the spot. We're parked. He's parked. We're both 6'5" athletes, and the seller was much smaller. Told my brother to get in his car and to turn off his car and take his keys out of the ignition, and I'll do the rest. I threaten him harm if he doesn't return my money. He doesn't have it on him. He suggested the bank. I said, fuck no, but give me your phone and wallet and you're coming with us while we go find an ATM. He gets in our car and we find an ATM in an empty parking lot. I stay out of camera view and he gives me the money he scammed me out of. I returned his wallet and phone. He wants a ride back to his car, but we make him walk and threw his keys 100 feet away over a fence in a dirt lot. I imagine he stopped scamming people for a couple $100 after that.